What's up guys, welcome to another video, and today we are reviewing my beautiful CLS. And I wanted to make this into like section list because we're talking about one car, so we could stretch it out. I think the first thing I want to talk about is motor, then I'm going to talk about transmission, interior, and overall just everything that makes this car what this car is. So motor wise, right? This is the M278. That's the little brother. It has the same block as the M157, which is the AMG 63 5.5. This is the 4.7 twin turbo. It shares the same block. The only thing that's different in that car would be the turbos, and the block is bored out to 5.5 compared to 4.7. This engine is really good. It's great for tuning, very, very stable, good engine. Does have somewhat of a problem with the actual cylinder walls. I forgot what it's called in English, but when they get scratched up, I'll put it somewhere here. That's the only issue it has. Otherwise, these engines are pretty bulletproof. They can show pretty insane numbers once you go upgrade turbo, kit, all that stuff. I've seen ones go into close to 900 horsepower and more than 1,000 pound-feet of torque, which is insane for non-AMG car, right? And the M157s, I mean, you know, those are crazy torque machines. Those are insane. The main reason why this engine is considered so good is the torque. The torque numbers are just insane for what this car is. Compared to BMW V8s, Audi V8s, they're not even close in torque numbers, which is a blessing in disguise because I'm about to talk about the transmission, which is the main, I feel like, downfall of this car, especially the pre-facelift cars that came with the 7 speeds. It's pretty much a slush box. They're reliable, yes, they're pretty good transmissions. Not as reliable as the 5 speeds that came before it, of course, but those were just horrible. Those were horrid. They're not fast at all. And these transmissions, not the 63 ones, because the 63 ones come to dual clutch. Those actually shift pretty fast. Compared to the 7-speed DCT though, in the BMWs, those don't have a chance because those transmissions are way better, but they're fragile. But yeah, coming back to this car, the transmission in this car is really just a slush box. It doesn't really know what to do half the time. It doesn't shift fast. It could hold a lot of torque and power, yes. You're not gonna have to rebuild this transmission up until, I think, past like 700 something horsepower and like 800 something torque, which, I mean, for a stock non-63 transmission is a lot of power and torque. But the real loss you get is really any kind of speed. It doesn't shift fast. It's very comfortable though. I mean, I get why they programmed the transmission like that. This is supposed to be a comfortable car, right? This is supposed to be the daily, and the 63 is supposed to be the insane fun car, right? But the 63 isn't fast either. The 7 speeds in the 63, even though they're dual clutch, they're way better than these because these are just slush boxes. They're just regular torque converter transmissions. Those are better, but compared to the DSG, the 7-speed DCT, and I'm not even going to speak on the PDK, they don't have a chance. They don't stand a chance. If Mercedes didn't go out and make their transmissions in-house like they do, they would know how to make these cars way faster than any other brand. But I mean, then it wouldn't be fair, right? The other problem with this car is the charge pipe. The charge pipe on a launch, it is so slow to deliver the full power. It almost feels like turbo lag, but it isn't turbo lag. When you're driving, yes, like off a 40 roll, these cars are very responsive if you're in the right gear, which is tricky, but if you could get it in the right gear, it will be extremely responsive because of the torque numbers, especially if it's low down, the torque will really carry this car. But charge pipe off a launch is horrible. The 63 charge pipes are good. That's why this car comes with such a slow 0 to 60. and such a fast quarter, right? You look at the 0 to 60 stock on these, they're like in the like fives, which for a car that comes with north of 400 horsepower, north of 500 like 20 torque, and you know that should be way faster than 5 seconds. But because of the charge pipe and the way just the engine's programmed factory, this car loses the 0 to 60 to most other cars. But if you tune these, transmission, engine tune, all of that stuff, you'll get those. You could get that into the threes, no problem. And another thing is, I feel like a real downfall in these cars are their cooling systems. I mean, as most Mercedes, yes, to reiterate, a BMW has better cooling. Audi, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it does. It might not, but I'm pretty sure it does. These lack in cooling. But that's pretty much all the downfalls in these. To go into the actual chassis and everything else, these are amazing cars. These drivetrain-wise are amazing. They barely have any issues with anything. The 4MATIC system is immaculate. Oh, another thing I would like to complain about is stability. You can't fully turn it off unless you go into dyno mode, which turns your power steering off. But, I mean, I'm complaining about things that I'm not supposed to do with this car, right? It's a grandpa car. That's just fast. That's kind of the point of it. You're supposed to, this is like a more stylish E-Class with like a nicer interior, closer to like an S-Class with a coupe-ish design, right? I mean, you know, this isn't the CLS 63 that I'm sitting here talking about, but it's still, if you turn off stability, traction control, stability control off, it'll let you slide. It has a nice 70 to 30 distribution, 70 to the rear wheels, 30 to the front. And if you keep the traction on, it has never slipped on me. It has never, you know, with BMWs, I feel like their traction control is way worse than with these cars. And with Audis, their power split is very boring. They have the 50-50 Quattro, which it doesn't really leave you much room for any fun. I feel like these cars really have it like perfected with the whole drivetrain. Their traction control system is great. Their split is amazing. I could slide this car in the rain anytime, snow anytime. These differentials are pretty strong. Honestly, for some reason, BMWs have really, from what I've seen, fragile differentials, which is weird, especially since BMWs are kind of known for being a car that you slide in. Going into suspension. Suspension-wise, these cars are beautiful. They have S-Class air suspension all around, both front and back, compared to the 63s having the air suspension only in the back, which is better for handling, of course, but those cars are more stiff overall. These cars are, you know, more comfortable. As a daily, these cars are way better. Yes, this car does handle like a complete pig. Like a cow doesn't want to go into any corner. You have to really shove it into a corner because of how heavy it is. This is a very heavy car, right? It's even heavier than the E-Class, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I'll put up the numbers right now. They're very heavy, but they are very good for going fast in a straight line. Suspension-wise, the main issue I really have is how expensive it is to fix these cars' suspension. These cars are extremely complex, but otherwise, suspension-wise, it's really great. Do wish there was a mode to put it in where it become even more stiffer, because I feel like even sport mode in this suspension is way too comfortable and way too soft. But I mean, it is a 550, so I can't complain because the 63 comes with a suspension that gets stiff enough for corners and track and all of that good stuff. Otherwise, I have the interior to talk about. Interior-wise, these cars cannot be better. The nicest interior I've ever been. Of course, compared to a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, yes, this is lackluster. But this is up there with S-Class interior. At least the materials used, the leather in this car is insanely good quality. It's all real leather. This car has like 10 grand in interior packages, the Zignio. The seats massage, they have the little ventilated stuff where if you go into a corner, one of them bolsters and it keeps you hugged, but it doesn't like bolster you too hard. It has all the good stuff except for the back of this car is super cramped. It's a CLS and it's a very long car. Like, as you would think, it would be pretty good in the back, but it's a 4-seater, right? It's a 4-seater coupe sedan. E-Class and this are pretty much the same length. I think this is even slightly longer, but this is super cramped. It feels like a C-Class interior. It is super cramped, uncomfortable in the back. I mean, I can't physically fit in the back if I tried. Somebody, if you're planning to drive around kids or midgets in the back, perfect. But anything bigger than like a 10-year-old, this won't work. Otherwise, interior-wise, it's great. It has leather on everywhere. Even places it doesn't need leather, it still has leather. The sound system, it's good, but it's not as good as I feel like the new Benz audio is, the Burmester stuff. But for Harman Kardon, I feel like the Harman Kardon and these cars are better than the BMWs of the same years for some reason. I think it has something to do with insulation. That's pretty much all for the interior. I guess to talk about the body and the real reason I chose this car. The body is beautiful. CLS, it has all the curves, you know, the banana, right? That's what it's called. It's like an upside down banana. It was my dream car from like 13 years old, somewhere around that time. 12 years old, 12, 13. It's like the first picture I have in my phone. In my gallery, it's the first picture I have. I ever downloaded to my phone. It's been a dream car of mine for a while. It really started with my dad's friend giving me a ride in one back when they were, like in 2014. He got one brand new in black, on black interior, the 63 though. And I mean, really been a dream car for me. When I got this, I wanted to build it like balls to the wall, 900 horsepower, but I realized that really for that money and for the amount of headache I'm gonna have, it's easier to just get a 63 and enjoy that, because I'm gonna have to have, you know, this car sit at a shop all the time. I'm gonna have to buy it daily. Overall, it's a reliable, fun, great daily. As a first car, this is more than enough power. You know, it's everything you could ask for in a car, especially if you don't have more than one car. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. This is my little talk about my car. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys next time.